Hello, Salvadorian Warrior here, and today we're going to talk about the update to Hecahands. Yeah, as you know, the points were updated, which means there were some funny changes. There was a handful of good ones, a lot of bad ones, and a lot of questionable ones. But I'm just happy that Hecahands is now free. As you can see, Gigas is 0 points. And for some odd reason, I don't know why they put Xeno at 10 points. But now, look at him. He's free. He's no longer 10 points. He's free. He's just super free. The downside is that, this card, Nightmare Princess, she's still 20 points. And Ultimate Slayer is now 1 point. And of course, our targets for Ultimate Slayer are 4 points each. That is so crazy. And of course, there's a whole bunch of other cards that got hit. For an example, well, if we quickly go to... safe. If we quickly go to the Monarch deck, which I named Kings, we had to make lots of adjustments because I believe our side deck needed to change. So as you can see, we're running Dark Holes now instead of Cosmic Cyclones, which costed some points. If I type it right now, just give me a minute. Here we go. It costed 1 point. Yeah, that was one. And Dark Ruler No More is no longer free. It is now 2 points. Can you believe that? 2 freaking points. Yeah. I also added something else too, but Oh yeah, that's right. Soul Exchange. Not old school Soul Exchange. But this card right here is now 3 points. And I had that in the side deck as well. I guess the card was so good for Monarchs, they just figured, why not? But you know what? This is a double feature. If you're still planning to rip your opponent's hands, you can still do that with whatever strategy you're going for. It's just... where is it? This card right here got hit with 3 points. So, if you're looking for a card that can still special summon, I recommend Kashira Ogre. That is still a good body to use, so you can sack for your regular Monarch cards. Trust me, man, it's pretty good. But if you're still willing to use this card, keep in mind 3 points, and whatever strategies that you're planning to use with this card, it's all on you, man. Going back to Hecahands, the deck that I've been using a lot, I thought I would use this opportunity to talk about its side deck, because last time we talked about Hecahands, I made a comment saying that the side deck needed work, and over the past events that I went to play Hecahands at regionals, I started to tinker some things, and I'm ready to talk about what we can do about that. So, for starters, we're running 3 kaijus. It's to get rid of problem cards, so this is good. And then of course Karakura Divine Incarnate, a really good card. And since we're gonna play on interruptions and we have this card in our hand, we're just gonna try to bait out card effects, and if somehow they use all of their card effects, mostly monsters, Karakura will finally be able to get rid of all those cards, and we'll have a really strong card on the field. And of course, at end phase, we'll special summon a monster from their graveyard to our side of the field. So talk about some pretty awesome moments with Karakura Divine Incarnate. Book of Lunar Eclipse. I figured I would add this card in there, not because I get to set 2 cards and it has to be exactly 2 cards, but we'll have enough cards in our hand to send to the graveyard to activate this card. We rarely have no cards in our hand. So Book of Lunar Eclipse is a good option. And of course, Final Bringer of the End Times is also a really, really good card to have in the side deck. And here's the method to my madness here. So most of my boards is always going to have a loose. The only time I won't have a loose is when I'm trying to get into Duke of Demise and I go into Crazy Beast before I start going into the Chimera plays. But most of the time it's going to be loose. And if I have one monster either on the left or right side and they try to do something, Final Bringer of End Times, I'll activate it and we'll pop cards. We'll have to target a monster, obviously, and we're gonna pick the monster that's on either the left or right side. And since loose is protecting left and right, they won't get popped by Final Bringer of End Times, and at the same time we'll still be able to pop a card on their side of the field. So this is technically MST with an extra step, only this time we're proccing it with loose, so that way we don't have to force ourselves to get rid of a monster. We'll be the jackass that we are, pick the monster and pretend that it got popped. And before you say, oh, it doesn't work, I tested this on this little simulator and it indeed still works. So we're good, homie. Another choice, which is 5 points, which is why we're sitting on 98 right now, is Forbidden Chalice. This is a card that I've been thinking about long and hard about, and I decided, you know what, I want to put it in the side deck. And here's the reasoning. I was mostly worried about negating monster effects and giving them 400 more attack, but since we're having illusion cards, I don't have to worry about that, because the worst thing they're gonna do is attack me, I take life point damage, but they won't go away, because remember, most illusion cards has the battle protection. The con of that is that we can't destroy monsters either. So that's the reason why I believe the Forbidden Chalice will be really good. And it's a quick play spell. So it's good. Negating a monster effect and giving them 400 attack is a-okay with Hecahands. And finally, I thought I would give this card a try. Mischief of the Gnomes was a card that I wanted to use, but due to how slow it is because of it's a trap, I kind of dismantled that and just figured I'll never use that card again. But thanks to Burst Protocol, we were blessed with this new quick play spell, Mischief of the Wolves. Not only is it cute and adorable, but it also manipulates monster levels by 2. And it also happens, they get their levels reduced by 2 if it's on the field, and our monsters levels gets increased by 2. But we're mostly gonna do this for decks that are running Exceeds and Synchros. Mischief of the Gnomes usually reduces monster levels by 1, and it also affects their hand too. And it has that effect where we can set it, we can banish it in the graveyard and still do the exact same thing until end phase, obviously. And I believe Mischief of the Gnomes has a similar effect. No, but it has a pop effect, but for us, so we can add it back into our hand. And if you remember what I said about loose, oh yeah, we can totally do that too. All right, so this is something that I've been thinking about too when I pulled it many times. And, you know, I was a happy camper when I pulled it because I was thinking about Genesys when I saw this card. So, in summary, this card's good for Exceeds and Synchros. This is good to stop monster effects, and since our monsters can't be destroyed by battle, this is fine. This is good if we have loose on the field. This is good for Synchros, or maybe if we want to stop a problem card or anything. This is to stop multiple boards. This is this card is a board breaker, and this card is kind of a board breaker. That's basically what I'm trying to get at. One last thing, I finally got some play with Nightmare Hands, and this card is really good. It's just that we have to send Yara or Itis, because if we have some of these cards or monsters in the graveyard and we send this with Nightmare Hands, we can totally grab these cards and special summon them to the field with Nightmare Hands. Oh wait, no, I'm reading this wrong. If we have a level 5 or higher illusion monster, we can banish this card from the graveyard and target one of our opponent's monsters and special summon it to the field. However, they get banished once they leave the field. And but that's during the end phase of my next turn. And of course, the sending illusion monster deck to the graveyard is still a strat, because again, if our Hecahands cards are in the graveyard and we need to grab them, we don't have to use Chimera Fusion to do that. We can just use Nightmare Hands and do that. And if we control a level 5 or higher illusion monster, which we will, because this is pretty high, and this is also an illusion monster, and our boss monster Chimera Illusion Beast is one, we can proc the effect to banish it and grab a monster from their graveyard, and that's pretty much it. All in all, in this update point list, Hecahands is a little bit better to play if you're willing to play Hecahands. Just based on whatever your strategy is. You don't have to run it with board breakers. You could run it with hand traps. You can run it with, well, you can't actually run it with hand traps. It's actually more difficult, but whatever your strategy is with Hecahands, they're free, man, and you can do whatever you want. That's pretty much it. You guys take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next one when we go back to Master Duel and play an old archetype. Anyways, see ya.